Hello, everybody. My name is Jude, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 5, Season 2 in review. This was the 29th season of Fortnite, and I'm going to start this new series where every time a season comes to a close, I will be reviewing it, talking about my feelings, going over what all we had that season, etc. So before we do start, I would like to say if you would like to support me, please do consider using my supporter creator code in the Fortnite item shop, Judas Jinxed. Yeah, if you would like to support me, it'd be a great deal. I do work very hard on my videos, and yeah, that's just the best way to support me. So yeah, guys, today we're going to be talking about Chapter 5, Season 2, Myths and Mortals. So, this season was centered around Greek mythology, gods and goddesses, etc. It lasted for about 76 days, and it was the second season of Chapter 5. Interestingly enough, Chapter 5 Season 2 was originally going to start on March 8th. However, the season actually didn't begin until March 9th for many because of technical issues that led to the update time for the update to actually be finished being extended by upwards of like 12 or 16 hours. It was super duper long downtime for this update. Okay, I just checked. The downtime ended up being over 18 hours, which is the longest in history, longer than the Fortnite downtime that ended up giving us the Rust Bucket. And something really interesting is they actually did not compensate us in any way with this downtime. We didn't get any free cosmetics or XP, which is really weird. I feel like they would have done that, but I'm not going to complain much. The season launch was pretty good in my opinion. There wasn't many bugs, so I won't complain much about that. So, Chapter 5, Season 1's end of season stuff happened whenever Odyssey arrived in like Ruined Reels. We had these mosaic quests that teased the future of the season. And then a few days later, the Titan Hand emerged by Ruined Reels and it let out Pandora's box. We all had to shoot it down, and the box opened, and then the evils of the underworld escaped. And yeah, that is how Chapter 5, Season 1 ended. And then Chapter 5 Season 2 started with the box being opened. The Pantheon arrived on the island. We got 4 new POIs this season, and that was the Mount Olympus POI, Brawler's Battleground, Grim Gate, which was my personal favorite, and the Underworld. So, Mount Olympus was obviously Olympus. It was home to Zeus and many of the other gods. It was a big, big location on the map. And by the way, we don't know any locations that are staying or leaving at the time of this video. So, Mount Olympus could still be here at the end of this week, or it might be gone. But I did like it a little bit. It wasn't my favorite location that we did get this season by any means. I think that the whole Olympus area of the map was way, way, way inferior to the Underworld side we got. And I'll go ahead and talk about Brawler's Battlegrounds too. Brawlers was probably my least favorite location we got this season. First of all, the location of it on the map was horrible. If you landed Brawlers, you got the Ares medallion, which sucked. It gave you just a tiny, tiny damage boost. His mythic cover was pretty good. The Ares mythical AR, his personal one, it was pretty good. And we'll talk about weapons later in the video, but his medallion was horrible. And the fact that you landed there for the horrible medallion and never ever got to be in zone because of how far off the map it was just a really bad location. However, the Underworld side I actually liked a lot more. In the gameplay, we're actually at Grimgate, which I'll just go ahead and talk about. Grimgate is it's like a little far off from the middle of the map. You almost always got zone here. The location is very hard to build at, but it's kind of fun to fight at, especially in zero builds. But it's very hard to actually build here because of just the way it's designed structurally, which is kind of sucky. But that's like the only downside it has, in my opinion. There's tons of loot here. It's not very hard to traverse, in my opinion, which is a problem that the Underworld and Mount Olympus have just because of how large they are in size. Grim Gate and Brawler's Battlegrounds were fairly small locations, so looting them did not take very long, and you did get a ton of loot out of it. Cerberus resided here, and he had the Mythic Gatekeeper as well as the mythical, or not the mythical, but the medallion. And his medallion was by far the best. It gave you infinite underworld dash effect. They would recharge after a few seconds. This medallion was so good that it allowed Peterbot and Polo to win FNCS like very easily, all because of this medallion, basically. So yeah, this medallion was busted, and I'm not sure how it didn't get nerfed, but I'm not complaining because it was so fun when I had it. The Underworld's the last location. Once again, it's a very big location like Olympus, so it's kind of hard to move around and loot fast. Hades was there, and he had the Siphon medallion, and it was probably the second best, I would say. Zeus's was, I don't know, I actually forgot to talk about Zeus. We'll just go ahead and talk about Zeus real quick. His was like a movement-based one, so you had like higher jumps and stuff, It was cool at the beginning of the season, but it actually got worse as the season went on because you could get the same effect from the Banana of the Gods, so it became less cool in my opinion. So if I had to rank the medallions, I'd put Cerberus's, then Hades, then Zeus, then Ares medallion. Something cool about the underworld though is there was Midas's little jail cell, which was actually pretty cool to see. It opened up on the second week of the season, which was pretty cool. So now we're going to be talking about like the story for the season. I just mentioned Midas. At the beginning of the season, Midas did come back to the island. It was really cool to do the quest lines about like saving him and getting him off the island. Later in the season, he did actually leave on the Midas's Marigold yacht thing, which was the only like real mid-season map change we got besides the Avatar temples. But yeah, Midas escaped the underworld and he escaped the island on his yacht with like Jules, Meowscles, and all those people, his little gang. The storyline for this season was given out through the snapshot quests. You had to go recruit Aphrodite, talk to the Oracle. They were kind of repetitive, but the story was pretty nice this season. It wrapped up with us destroying Zeus's hourglass and defeating him, which enraged him. And then he had the mini live event this season where he busted open the box with his lightning bolts and sent the Wanderer or Sandstorm. I don't know which exactly or what the term is we're using, but it is now appearing on the south side of the island, and it will be clashing into the island next week. I guess when the time I'm recording this, it'll be Friday for you guys. The battle pass this season was really nice, in my opinion. Poseidon was pretty good, Artemis was amazing, Zeus was pretty good, Hades was also amazing, and so was Cerberus. Aphrodite was good, Cora was good, and Medusa was just okay, in my opinion. But this is one of the best battle passes we've ever got, in my opinion. It costs 950 V-Bucks like every other battle pass, you could get it for free from the Fortnite crew, and you got 1500 V-Bucks back. Once again, we had the weird Survivor medal rewards where you could get edit styles for the prize llama back bling. They really need to switch up the back bling on that or just remove it entirely because it's been here for like 3 or 4 seasons now. The win umbrella we did get this season was the Olympian, which had a nice white and gold color scheme. I actually do like this one. It's pretty clean and pretty simple, and it matches the Immortal Zeus edit style. If you received 75 points in any of the rank cups this season, you also got the Pantheon Ranker umbrella, which is a reskin of this one. However, it looks a lot cooler. It has like a galaxy effect with your rank on it. So for some new features we got this season, we had the Shadow Briefings, which was like the bounties, the calling in a supply drop, the searching the big chests, and the driving vehicle. These would give you gold bars as well as like complete quests for you. And if you chose like the supply drop one, you'd get loot. We also had the weapon bunkers, which were a really interesting addition. They opened up in the middle of the match, and you could mod your weapons here. These were the only places you could use mod benches besides the floating island that spawns in halfway through the game as well. And we also got the Underworld Dash, which was a very interesting feature. It was kind of like the 0 point blip effect from Chapter 2, Season 5, where if you had like the 0 point crystal, you could just dash through. It was very similar to that, and I actually really do like this feature. It was a very good one, and it helped mobility throughout the season. We had the Warforged Assault Rifle, which was a pretty fast-firing AR. I liked it. I kind of like the Nemesis AR a little bit better in certain situations, but it was not horrible. We had the Huntress DMR, which was definitely the best DMR we've ever had, but I'd still rather take a sniper over it. We had Cerberus's Gatekeeper Shotgun, or we had just had the Gatekeeper Shotgun. Cerberus was the mythic one. I really like this shotgun. It is a kind of tactical shotgun, similar gun. I really like this one though. I hope they don't fault it. Hades had the Mythic Harbinger SMG, and this was a pretty fast-firing SMG. However, I still preferred to keep the Thunder SMG personally, the Thunderburst. Thunderbolt of Zeus was a very controversial item at the start of the season. They nerfed it halfway through. Basically, you picked up a Thunderbolt and you chucked it down at people, and it would do a ton of damage. You could just build with metal though, and you wouldn't have to deal with it. The Wings of Icarus allowed you to fly. They were a really cool mechanic, but they were pretty bad. Whenever the season started, everyone thought they were going to be really overpowered, but it's so easy to shoot people out when they use them. We got the Aspect of Combat, which was Ares Medallion, which just gave you a small damage boost. The Aspect of Siphon, Hades Medallion, which gave you Siphon, I think it's 50. Aspect Agility, that is the Cerberus Medallion, which gives you the Infinite Recharge Underworld Dash. The Aspect of Speed, which gives you the Banana of the Gods effect. And we had the Shade Wolves, which were the wolves that came and attacked you whenever you did Cerberus's boss fight. I think it would have been cool if these were all around the underworld and not just during the boss fight. There was also the Olympian chests and Underworld chests, which would actually give you these Olympian powers, and they were pretty good chests, honestly. They gave you a gun and one of the Underworld slash Olympian powers, and they were pretty good. For weapon mods, we got the Thermal Optic, which just gave you a thermal scope on your gun, and the Speed Foregrip, which whenever you ADS, you would move a little bit faster. The Chug Splash was unvolted, we had Slurp Mushrooms unvolted, as well as supply drops. We had the Striker AR volted, the Enforcer AR, we had the Hyper SMG volted, we had the Ballistic Shield volted, the Lock-On Pistol, the Grapple Blade, Anvil Rocket Launcher, the EMP Stealth Camo, the Cardboard Box, Crashpad Jr., Business Turret, Banana, all the medallions from last season. We had the Bounty Boards volted, the Combat Cache volted, and the Sewers volted. For the Midas's Uprising event, we had the Drum Gun unvolted, with now you could have mods on it. We had the Chain of Hades added, which is a very controversial item, but I personally loved it. I think it was super fun, and it wasn't that hard to counter, in my opinion. Shield Bubble Junior was added, which was a Shield Bubble Junior, basically. It was just a small shield bubble. They weren't very good in build, but in zero build, they were actually really good. And we had the Gold Chicken, which would just lay the golden eggs from last year's spring event. The next update of the season brought us Midas's Mythical Drum Gun, which was only in the game for about a week. This was just Midas's personal mythic drum gun. It had a couple of better stats, and yeah, nothing too special. Hand Cannon was unvolted and now supports mods like the drum gun, and this was a very fun weapon, and I loved using the Hand Cannon this season. It was just super fun to use. Volted weapons for this update, it was the uncommon and rare Reaper Sniper Rifle. So halfway throughout the season, they volted the uncommon and rare only for the Reaper Sniper Rifle, which is kind of weird, but it made snipers a lot less common, and a lot more people actually cared about going to the bunkers because they had a higher chance of dropping snipers. The next update, we got Water Bending, which was the first avatar item we got in the game. It is pretty fun. You throw like icicles at people. A lot of people think it's really overpowered, and I'm kind of excited to see this one volted in my opinion. I don't know. I like the chains, but the water bending was not my favorite. I would rather just use guns instead, but I felt like I had to use this because it was so much better than an AR. And then the Gold Chicken and Midas's Strum Gun were volted. And then later, for a really weird reason, the Pro Fishing Rod was unvolted through the NPC that spawns at like Kato's house, the Charon NPC, which is kind of weird. We also got Airbending, which was really good for mobility. The weeks during the Avatar event was so good for mobility. I loved it because you had the Underworld Dash, you had airbending. It was just really nice. Earthbending was there as well, which you could throw up a wall. It wasn't too good, and neither was firebending. Firebending was actually really, really bad. Also, during the Avatar event, really weirdly, they volted the Chains of Hades, Thunderbolt of Zeus, and the Wings of Icarus, which I don't like at all. I don't know why they did that. We also got the Tactical Assault Rifle, which now supports mods. This gun was really, really bad, surprisingly. The damage on it was just not good, and you would have rather taken an SMG or waterbending over it every time. We also got the Wookiee Bowcaster, which is a new Star Wars weapon. This was pretty fun to use. I didn't hate it at all. We had the Stormtrooper Blasters back, Darth Vader's lightsaber, which was the only lightsaber we got back this year, which I think was kind of weird for them to do. We got the Olympian powers back after the Avatar event ended. They volted the Pro Fishing Rod again because I don't think they ever meant to bring it back. They also volted Cluster Cleaners and Shield Breakers at this point, which is kind of weird. And then for the last update of the season, they unvolted the Big Bush Bomb, but it was only in builds, which is kind of weird because I felt like they should have unvolted it in zero builds where it was actually a really good item. In my opinion, this season was so overhated. I actually really did like the season. The battle pass was good, the gunplay was pretty good too. I love the gatekeeper. I love the mobility, especially during the Avatar event. It was really good. I wish they kept airbending rather than the water bending. However, it kind of was annoying going up against people who would just run away with airbending. However, it wasn't that hard to just snipe them while they were doing the airbending. You kind of were pretty vulnerable. This season was just so hated upon like halfway through, which is really weird because it's not unusual for people to get bored of the season halfway through. However, people just did not like this season for whatever reason, and I can't really see why. The only thing that actually feels like people started hating this season for is whenever they removed rarities, which was kind of a weird, stupid-ish change. It was just unnecessary, right? They didn't need to do it, but people acted like that was the end of the world when really it only affects how your locker is organized. People say it changes the way Fortnite prices stuff. It really doesn't. We've seen that happen throughout the past month or so. Fortnite has not changed the way they price stuff. Another reason this season was kind of a little weird is they didn't bring back Kratos after adding him back to the shop sections at the very beginning of the season. Now, I'm recording this on May 21st. So if Kratos comes back between now and the new season, I'm very sorry, but as of the time recording this, he is not back in the shop yet. We did get a reboot rally this season and some other limited time quest events like the Midas's one. This season for quest rewards and free stuff was actually pretty good. There was tons of loading screens and sprays you could get through the story quests. There was the ranked cups. There was rocket racing stuff, but this is pertaining to the BR season. So the other modes had good stuff too this season, but specifically for BR, there was tons of rewards you could earn. And for cosmetics this season, we actually got a ton of good ones. There was a ton of mid item shop skins in my opinion. However, Nike Goddess was a collab that was really good. The Battle Pass was great. We had My Hero collab as well this season. We had the Avatar one, obviously, and then the big Star Wars one too. The season was really good for cosmetics. Billy, yeah, just tons of great skins this season. And yeah, I honestly think this season was pretty overhated. I would personally probably give this an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9. I feel like this season will grow on people a ton in the future just because of how I don't know what the word is. I guess experimental it was. Chapter 2, Season 2 was probably the most experimental season we ever got, just because they threw so much at us at once. They threw tons of new weapons at us. They threw NPCs at us for the first time. They threw Volts. And that season is really highly regarded as one of the best. And I feel like part of the reason is because of all the new stuff we got that season. And I feel like this season will also go down as one of the better ones whenever people just stop hating on it senselessly, I feel like. Yeah, I don't know. It's nowhere near like the top 5 seasons of all time, but it's definitely a really good one, and I don't see why it's hated so much because this was a pretty good season. Anyways, we have the new season starting in just a couple days from now. Actually, I'm uploading this on Thursday, so it will be starting tomorrow morning. I hope everyone is ready for the season. Get your battle pass done if you haven't already. You're running out of time. I'm very excited for the new season. I can't wait to see you guys in Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 3 Wrecked. Thank you guys for watching. Please do consider subscribing and liking the video, as well as using my supporter creator code in the Fortnite item shop, which is Jude is Jinx, just like my channel name. Yeah, I love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.